Hello, everyone. Mariana here with the Sustainable Living Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are so pleased that you're spending your time listening to what we have to say. And you know what? We want to hear from you. So if you have any thoughts about today's topic, which is food and food choices we are making, please let us know. Tell us your experience. Tell us what you think. And today you're going to hear from Emily. I want to remind you that everything we're presenting to you on the podcast is our opinion and our opinion only. We do our own research and we are asking you to do that as well. I think Emily has a lot of good tips for all of us, and I really think you will enjoy the show. Also, tune in at the very end. So, what I mean is listen to the very end. And I'm going to share something with you which is new and I'm doing, and I just got started with it. Enjoy the show. Also, please forgive us that the sound quality is a little bit off. Emily forgot to plug her earphones in or her headphones with a little microphone. And so it's a computer microphone. So you will hear what it sounds like if you're just recording through the built in a computer. It's still very easy to listen to. It just sounds a little bit hollow. That's all. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Hello, and welcome to the Sustainable Living Podcast. This is Emily Jurdy here speaking with you today, and I would like to focus on food. In my book, Minimalist Living for a Maximum Life, I talk a lot about food and how there's so much confusion about what's right for me. What am I supposed to do? Should I be paleo? Should I go on the keto diet? Should I be vegan, vegetarian? And the answer is yes. The long answer is do what is best for you. Our bodies have different needs. We have different genetic makeup. We have different needs in different times of our lives. It's not an easy answer. As a society, we always want the quick and easy answer. But what I have found on my journey and experience, and with working with a huge variety of holistic healers, is that your needs as far as your diet are so individualized and they shift over time. So paleo might work for you at one point in your life. Then maybe being a vegetarian will work at another time in your life. It can shift and evolve as you shift and evolve. We can't expect that the same foods we needed when we were growing and developing are the same needs we need when we are, let's say, having a child or pregnant or nursing, or the same needs when we are not very active and we have a more sedentary lifestyle through retirement, or there's just so many different varieties. So then it almost makes it feel hopeless. But the good news is there are some amazing healers out there who are willing and ready to help. I have had the most success through muscle testing as far as nutrition and diet. What muscle testing is the practitioner essentially is the interpreter for your body's needs. So it can, I know it also has maybe called applied kinesiology, or sometimes it's called nutrition response testing. There's so many different words for it, but essentially it's that their body is telling you what you need by using your muscles' reaction as the variable for telling you what you need. So if you're not sure what it looks like, you step into the appointment and the practitioner uses your arm, which is out straight in front of you, or sometimes you're laying down and it's up straight in the air. The practitioner checks the parts of your body by putting their hands on that location. So for example, if you're struggling with a thyroid issue, the hands go on the thyroid, and the other hand goes on your arm and puts pressure on it, and whether the arm moves down or stays where it is telling that practitioner whether or not your body needs. So it eliminates any biases and any fluctuation in your needs according to age, environment, and what you feel is important for you. So essentially your body is telling the practitioner what it needs. We're using the innate intelligence of the body that has been extensively studied in science and has been proven to be a thing. So we're using that innate intelligence of the body to ask it what its needs are at the current moment. So if you have not had this experience, I would highly recommend it. There are also some just very generic health recommendations that I have found to be extremely helpful on my journey. So basically, vegetables. We all need vegetables, no matter what type of body you are or what your experience is, and everyone needs vegetables. That's pretty common. But how do we make them taste good, right? So what I tell people is if you do not like vegetables, I always say add them in slowly. It's not what you are eating, it's what you're not eating, was the best advice I got. So I started off slow in my early 20s. I always had vegetables, but the variety was very minimal. It was very much, cucumbers or peppers or broccoli, and that was about it. So what I have started to do is every time I go to the grocery store, I pick up a new vegetable I've never tried, and I put it in one of my favorite foods. So our family likes to do gluten-free, dairy-free quesadillas. So we add a new fun vegetable into that quesadilla every week, and it's kind of evolved into the place where our quesadilla is pretty much mainly vegetables. Our family chooses to eat meat. We eat local, organic, humane as it can be, meat. I have tried to be a vegetarian several times. I've tried to be a vegan. I get extremely, extremely sick. Every time I see a new holistic healer, I ask I ask my body if I need to cut out meat, and my body always responds to needing meat. That is just me. I'm a huge animal activist. I love animals. I have actually, we used to have chickens, and we will have chickens again. And I actually was a part of the process, and I do it in a humane way. I follow some Native American traditions with a prayer and send the animal love, and there's some ways to do it more humanely than not. If you are a vegan or vegetarian, that is amazing. That's awesome. Your body is calling you to do that. So when it comes down to your decision on adding vegetables, whether you are a vegetarian or vegan or you eat meat, vegetables are important for our bodies. A lot of moms are finding success with green smoothies. I do caution you, however, many green smoothies end up being maybe 70% fruit. Now, fruit isn't inherently bad. Obviously, we need fruit. But fruit still has sugar. Yes, it's not processed sugar, but fruit does have sugar. And fruit only is abundant in nature during certain seasons, unless, of course, you're in the tropics. But many of us don't have that genetic code from that area. If you do, you are a lucky duck. You probably can eat a ton of fruit. For me, I grew up with the sort of meat and potatoes genetics. So I actually am really sensitive to fruit. I can only have 1 or 2 servings of fruit a day. Otherwise, I end up with some health issues. So again, it all comes down to being aware of your body and your body's needs. But overall, adding vegetables to dishes that you already love, you can slowly introduce them, and you will see your body will start to crave them. So I went from just having vegetables because I felt like I have to, and now I crave vegetables at a level where that if I don't have a salad every day, I actually do not feel good. So it's a slow and steady process, but it's definitely worth it. As mentioned earlier, fruit is important. Just be really aware of what your body is calling you to do. If you eat, an entire watermelon and your stomach bloats, that's your body saying, that was too much. If you start getting acne after a huge fruit binge, that's your body telling you. If your bowels change, just be really aware. A lot of us are so busy and just trying to survive throughout the day that we do not listen to our bodies. So by listening to your body, looking for reactions, you can start to be aware of what foods are and are not working for you. For me, when I was eating gluten and dairy, I would get little bumps on the back of my arm. There's some really great articles out there. I also get it when I eat too much sugar. So you can just kind of notice those things, and you can look online to see what symptoms are often presented with certain foods. So, if you have gluten, a lot of times will show up with the bumps on your arm. You may get some bloating, you may get some acne. So just be listening to your body, and food journals are a great place to start on this journey of, okay, what is my body like, what does it not like. But in general, increase your vegetables, have a little fruit, and then of course we all need protein. I'm not talking animal protein, but we all need protein because that's what feeds our brains, our muscles, our bodies. It keeps us vibrant. So make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet. It also helps you have a sustained amount of energy versus going highs and lows. There's also so much information there about high carb versus low carb. And again, it really depends. If you're an athlete, yeah, you're probably going to need some more carbs, even if they are not as maybe nutrient dense. But you try to get as many nutrient dense carbs, but some athletes just will need a little bit more carbohydrates. Some people thrive on a really heavy meat diet. I would recommend not doing that for a lifetime, but some people really love and have great results with the keto diet. Personally, I didn't need to go to that extreme, but my body does crave a lot of protein and healthy fats, whether that's meat or not. I just try to get a lot of healthy fats and protein in because my body is recovering from 2 miscarriages and breastfeeding for 3.5 years, and my body just needs that right now. Just veggies and fruits alone aren't going to cut it right now. So again, I would recommend getting a holistic practitioner on board. Talk to them about what you are currently doing, the symptoms you're having, and ways that you can help move forward. The most essential piece of any diet, whether you have a lot of veggies or not, or a lot of fruit or not, or any sort of diet out there, you need to be sure that your food is clean. The number one is non-GMO. Genetically modified foods can mess with your DNA, your hormones, and have lifelong effects. There is, of course, a ton of conflicting information out there. You will see a lot of information saying that genetically modified food is not a problem at all because they will argue that all food is modified. They are correct. The food that we have been eating for the last century is very different from centuries before that. All farmers are going to be planting foods that are the biggest, the most tasteful. So they are modifying it in that sense, but they're not going into a lab and genetically modifying it. So if you can find heirloom produce, that's the best way to go. And you growing your own food is definitely the easiest way to do that. It doesn't have to be certified organic, although that is at least a step in the direction towards assuring that you're getting at least a higher quality standard. By getting organic certified, you are ensuring that it is GMO free, and if there are pesticides and fertilizers used, that they are on the approved list of being organic and non-toxic and non-genetically modified. The best thing to do is to grow your own food. Yes, that seems like a lot, but you can get together with your neighbors. You can have a nice little community garden, or you can each have your own gardens, and just make sure you're planting different things. So that's a really great way. It saves you money. I am not a canner. I will eventually learn how to can. As of now, the easiest way for me to do it with no thought and no time is freezing. So if I have an abundance of green beans, I cut them up, I blanch them, and I throw them in the freezer. So that's a really fun way to save money and ensure your food is the highest quality. If you are at a farmer's market, just be sure to ask them, do you use any sprays? What's in the spray? Do you use permaculture practices, biodynamic? Get to know your farmer, ask them those questions, make sure they are not using chemicals. If they are using certified organic chemicals to keep the bugs at bay, make sure they have a list of ingredients. If they don't, ask them to get them to you to make sure. And you want to make sure that the chemicals they are using are food or plant-based. So you should be able to read the labels, and you should be able to, for example, maybe it's like ginger or garlic or lemon, or, you should be able to understand what it is. So that is a really great tip for when you're at the farmer's market, because we do want to support local farmers. And most farmers markets have even cleaner than organic. It's because, again, with the organic certification, they do have an approved list of up to, I think maybe 50 to 100 approved fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides that they can use. When you are purchasing meat, if you are a meat eater, be sure that it's antibiotic and hormone and nitrate free. That will at least give you the most results for your health. If you can, even a step further, make sure it's either grass-fed or it's fed, what the animal is intended to eat. A lot of people who raise meat go the easy route, which is usually corn and grains. So just be really observant and ask them questions, read labels, talk to your local natural food store cooperative. A lot of times they actually do know or will tell you what the animals are fed that you are purchasing. Lake Winds Food Co-op in Minnesota have a very knowledgeable staff. They actually go and visit the farms to ensure quality, and they, ask the questions, and they see them feeding the animals. They inspect the farm, and that's a great way to, know that your food is the highest quality. When it comes to produce, be sure that if you are not able to get all organic, make sure you're looking up the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen is the foods that are most sprayed, that are the most genetically modified, and they will definitely be harmful for your health and have lasting effects. The Clean 15, I personally, with all my produce, do organic, but if you can't do it, the Clean 15 are more safe because they are less sprayed. They don't have a lot of issues with bugs, so they are generally left to be just on their own without sprays. But that's not always the case, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So especially, things like strawberries. Strawberries are so heavily sprayed because, of course, those bugs love those strawberries. They're amazing. So we, even if it's organic, they're usually sprayed with organic pesticides because the bugs absolutely adore them. So just looking into the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen, you can just Google it. It's online. There's tons of information, so that's another great place to start. As a final note, what I like to tell people is you vote with your money. It can be extremely challenging. We have to adjust our lifestyles to accommodate this new, healthy, organic, whole foods lifestyle. It's a lot cheaper to get 12 boxes of mac and cheese for your family than it is to serve them a home-cooked meal. But I assure you, cancer is a lot more expensive down the road, and all the allergies and asthma and eczema and all these things that are popping up are ending up being a lot more expensive in the long run with all the hospital visits and topical things and medications and everything that comes along with that. So it's definitely worth your dollar. We decided that our food was the most important thing because we want to live a life of health, and we want to feel good, and we want to live for a long time, and we want to spend our money now instead of later. So we spend our money on our food, and maybe we don't go out to movies. Maybe we wait till they're on Netflix. Maybe we don't go on as many vacations. So there are lots of ways that you can accommodate that in your life and do what works for you. If maybe vacations are super important to you, so have food and vacations as your top priorities. There's lots of really fun ways you can do this. And I'm really excited to continue offering ideas. And if you are looking to be on the podcast and you have some great ideas, definitely connect with us at www.sustainablelivingpodcast.com. Thank you, and enjoy your health journey.
See, I told you it was easy to listen to, and such great insights, I think. It's so important to listen to our own bodies, and I'm definitely on a journey to reminding myself every single day, this is what I need to do. Hope you do too, and we really hope that what we have to say is just a little reminder for you or is helping you in some way or another. Anyways, you listened to the very end. Yay! Now I'm going to tell you what our little surprise is or what I was talking about. I think many of you know that we have a Patreon page. That's our service where you, the listener, can support us, the podcaster. And as you have been hearing, sounds are much better when we don't use the built-in microphone. I used to do that in the beginning of our podcasting journey. If you're with us for that long, probably maybe the first 20 episodes, I just had the built-in mic on my computer, and then it broke, and then I had to go and buy one. So part of the support we are getting from our Patreon supporters is to be able to buy microphones, headphones, Also little tech things you need. And then, of course, it costs every month to host a show, and there are other costs involved. Patreon has this new function where you can do little videos, kind of like if you're on other social media, I guess they're called stories, and they're probably called stories on Patreon too. I don't even know. I just got really excited about it because for me that's doable. That's something I can do to share little bits and pieces of the day, of the process of making this podcast. And I thought you guys like to see that, maybe. If you do, I will try to put one up every day for patrons only. So that's an exclusive little thing. If you're our supporters, and you get to have insights in our daily lives, in our podcasting journey, which other people do not have access to. And I also am not forgetting about all of you who are not in a position right now to support us in a monetary way. There are lots of ways you're supporting us by listening, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm going to put some up which are open for the public as well. Of course, we asked you to tell us what you think about this podcast. You can reach us at sustainablelivingpodcast@gmail.com. You can go to our website, sustainablelivingpodcast.com. There's a contact us form where we get your messages. You can also leave a message below every of the episodes. I have to tell you, so most of them are spam, and it takes me a while to go through and look through them and figure out which one is actually a real message and not just somebody trying to sell another medicine. That seems to be the most common one. Or a website service. As always, thank you so much for listening. We really love for you to be on that journey of creating a more sustainable lifestyle with us. Tell us what you are doing. We really, really want to hear from you. Give us your tips, your tricks, your insights. We love to hear them. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.